welcome back to Supplement Kitchen Reviews. This is Behind the Brand episode number 4.
Yep.
Yes, and today we've got Crow Nutrition with us, joining us today. So let's jump in here and get started. All right, sir. The floor is yours if you want to start us off by telling us a little bit about yourself.
Sure, man. Thanks for having us, or thanks for having me. Without giving you the mission statement, it's myself. I'm just a bodybuilder in martial arts, and I'm 47 years old. I've been doing something relative to that since I was 6. A supplement junkie. As soon as my dad and my mom got divorced in Texas, he had to up his game. So, first thing he had to do was hit the gym. And I was with him, and the first time I walked into a supplement store, I was hooked. The smell, the sound, all that stuff, every aspect about it, even though I was a little kid. And this was the Ferrigno-Arnold period, and all that, the mystique, I've just carried with me. I'm not a major in chemistry or anything like that. I'm unfortunately blessed with shitty genetics, so that has led me down a road of discovery, trying to build this body I was given with the best tools I could, with the gym, with supplementation, and if you don't have the best genetics and you are into this, and you got to study, you got to put your time into it, and you have to be smart. And pretty much that's me. I've used anything I was doing at the time, whether it was martial arts or trying to get big or just trying to be endurance. Supplementation has been there in some facet, and that's the cool thing about it. I love it. There's something there for everyone or everything that you can do. If you're smart about it, if you don't get too crazy and too wrapped up, and you use your head, there's something in it for everyone. And you don't even have to be an athlete. And part of Crow, our mission is to be an everyday supplement brand, and that's for everyday health. One of our first launch products was a glucose disposal agent, and it's not many of the bodybuilder crowd or the fitness crowd thinks of that as just cheat day, glucose loading and such like that. But I really want to help the diabetic. It's one of the biggest things out there is diabetes. Are the biggest medical conditions out there is diabetes, and a lot of the GEAs out there don't take care of all the facets of going after diabetes, and I think Sugar Shuttle does. We won't get off on that, but anyway, we want to be not only a fitness brand but also a lifestyle brand, to where you can use every day, and pretty much that's it. I mean, not a lot about me. I'm just like everybody else. I've ran the gambit. I was a fat kid in high school. But I was still an athlete. Out of high school, I did everything. I lost the weight, did everything I could to make up for lost time. I mean, even playing semi-pro football, volleyball, you name it. Went at it, martial arts, just went full blown. And with that comes injuries. Right now, I had a rotator cuff surgery on this left right before Christmas, so I haven't been in the gym forever, and it's killing me. But anyway. I'm just like anybody else, man. But we just want a brand that's good and strong, and that's my main mission, is to build muscle. The branding comes with it, and that's how you work the brand. That's how you get your name out there and such. But at the foundation, I want it to build muscle, and I want function, and we need function, and no bullshit. The other stuff is cool, and it comes in time, and you change brands. I mean, you look at all the looks and styles all these other brands have went through, and the changes, and that comes with it. That changes with the time, the looks, the styles, and being a designer over 20 years, I'm fortunate enough to be able to roll with the punches and change, and that's a huge expense for any brand, is the graphic side of things, and I'm fortunate enough to be able to do that myself. But yeah, we just want to be a brand, a go-to brand, a strong brand, no bullshit, and no hype. And just roll. And I'm a Jeet Kune Do practitioner, Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune Do, and you have to evolve. The science evolves. We're going to evolve. Ideas, anecdotal evidence evolves. More studies, things come out, and you have to roll with the punches, and you have to evolve. And we are going to do that. And we're already in the works. Interfast, Rumble, it's already in the works to be changed to have things added and such. So.
Heck yeah, yeah. And definitely just to touch on, one thing you said, people who aren't genetically gifted tend to not appreciate things as much. So the people who tend to have to work for those things appreciate them more. Example, I wrestled middle school, high school. I was a fat kid up until middle school. I got into wrestling, started to appreciate having to work for the things. And it's just one of those things. So definitely a good point there.
Yeah, and it made sense when you mentioned it, but we saw here on the label, let's see here, if you're a powerlifter, bodybuilder, CrossFit athlete, or martial artist. And I was like, where's martial artist coming from? So now it makes sense.
Yeah, man. One of the reasons I know I get dinged a lot for the STEM aspect in Rumble, but if you're rolling around in a gi and you're drenched in sweat, the last thing you want to be doing is jittered out of your mind.
Yeah.
I used to do that when I would roll a little bit or train, and it's just not cool. You're sick, you're jittery, you can't focus on training. You're worried about throwing up or your anxiety aspect. So, yeah, and with the nitrosogene and the cognitive aspects of that, yeah, it just works for martial arts.
Heck yeah,
Awesome.
I agree. Now we definitely see where that's coming from. So it makes sense. Good point out there. So I'll start us off a little more. We'll move on. So I think you've probably touched on this a little bit, but we'll just go through it again to make sure. So let's talk a little bit about the brand specific. Name. Why did you choose the name of Crow Nutrition?
I mean, obviously it's the first half of my last name, but I'm willing to bet there's a lot of Eagles out there, and this does go with the mission statement and the branding aspect. But the Eagles are always there, the Hawks are always there. They're out there. They're beautiful. They're majestic, but they're rare. I mean, I'm willing to bet there's a way more crows out there than there are Eagles. If you don't have and you're drenched in necessity, there's so much. You can rely on a crow, and they're jittered out of your mind.
Yeah.
I used to do that when I would roll a little bit or train, and it's just not cool. You're sick, you're jittery, you can't focus on training. You're worried about throwing up or your anxiety aspect. So, yeah, and with the nitrosogene and the cognitive aspects of that, yeah, it just works for martial arts.
Heck yeah,
Awesome.
I agree. Now we definitely see where that's coming from. So it makes sense. Good point out there. So I'll start us off a little more. We'll move on. So I think you've probably touched on this a little bit, but we'll just go through it again to make sure. So let's talk a little bit about the brand specific. Name. Why did you choose the name of Crow Nutrition?
I mean, obviously it's the first half of my last name, but I'm willing to bet there's a lot of Eagles out there, and this does go with the mission statement and the branding aspect. But the Eagles are always there, the Hawks are always there. They're out there. They're beautiful. They're majestic, but they're rare. I mean, I'm willing to bet there's a way more crows out there than there are Eagles and Hawks, and we're going to show up every day, and we're rough and we're gritty and we're rowdy, and we're going to be there and ready to go. I mean, the other birds are good to look at, but you're willing to bet that you can rely on a crow, and there's way more of us than there are of you.
Heck yeah,
That's awesome.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I like that. So now, reason for starting the brand, I think you kind of touched on it, but we'll just revisit it.
Sure. The flagship product is IntraFast, actually, right here. I didn't want to develop or come out with anything that didn't have a necessity. There's so much good stuff out there. I love, like I said, I'm a junkie. I walk into the local shops, vitamin shop, you name it. I want to buy everything. I have so much respect now, even a way deeper respect now that I'm in it, for these brands and such. And I didn't want to create something just to do it. And being when I got in my 40s and digestion and dieting wasn't as easy, and I had found intermittent fasting before, and I'm not a zealot. I'm not the crazy, faster person. The fact that I even have this or drink this puts me on I'm a blacklisted faster. You're not allowed to have artificial sweeteners and all that other bullshit.
Yeah.
But anyway, I created that out of necessity, and I didn't feel that there was a fasting product out there that didn't not cause hunger, that was underdosed. It didn't really have the proper stuff. A lot of the vitamins, a lot of things that you put in, that you take in, to make you hungry. And it took over a year to develop, and I've compounded and mixed so much crap. And this suppliers, I mean, this formula started out crazy. And but to start the brand, I just wanted to do something out of necessity, and I just didn't want to come out with a clone. And just I had other brands. I had a clothing brand for 6 years, and it's hard. It's hard, and I knew what I was getting into.
I think your mic went out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Okay. All right. Yeah, like I was saying, I had a brand for 6 years, pushed that. It was a gun brand at first. It was called Headshot. And I have the trademark on that damn word, Headshot. And it was a brand of clothes, and started out as a gun brand. And then I just got invited into the MMA thing from my previous connections. And I'd do gun shows on Saturday and Sunday. And at that night, I'd be at a fight. And I hustled, man. I hustled. So I know what I'm getting into. I hesitated doing any bodybuilding shows this past season because of COVID. But that's where you really got to get in with the ground level, boots on the ground, and hustle and do these shows. And we are looking forward to doing that this season. But IntraFast is definitely not a bodybuilding per se product. It's more of the fitness, the dieters. But I mean, if you look at it, it's just a stem base. I mean, you could definitely use it for cardio. You could add your wet ingredients in there for a pre-workout. I mean, just how you market it. And a lot of that crowd, they don't know what to look for. They're not savvy to the bodybuilding stuff. And who greater to lose weight than to look at than somebody who's shredded on stage, and they're really scared of that. And so I'm not trying to bridge a gap. I'm not trying to be an ambassador or such, but I'm really trying to bring that type of nutrition into a field where they're hesitant or scared to really even look at. And the more and more I get into, and more I talk to, they're so misinformed. They're so the people that they look up to and look at, it's crazy. And that I try to tell them, that's why guys don't play with us, man. I mean, you guys act nuts and you say the craziest stuff. And yeah, so it's an education job at that. I really have to sell this product. You either have to know what you're doing, or you have to be educated. And that's the task I have at hand with IntraFast. And I knew that was coming. And but yeah, that's why we started, was to get the whole IntraFast thing going.
Yeah, especially with like how much information's readily available on the internet around dieting. It's insane. And then to stack, intermittent fasting on top of that, you've got so many different opinions, and it's insane. So
yeah, well, they don't realize during that empty period, there's so much magic that they can accomplish. I mean, they're at a 0 point. They're clear-headed. If they just thought and applied a few things versus listen to some of these whack jobs, they'd really fare better. So.
Yeah. You touched on it earlier, though, about getting to events this year. Is there any events that you're already planning out?
Um, here in Tennessee, you always think of the Mr. Tennessee at the end of the season. COVID has things all crazy. That where that used to be religiously now is somewhere else. So I really don't. And I'm really, before I dedicate and such, I really wanted to see how things, maybe 2 months out, which is coming close. I mean, it's February already, but I kind of waiting, trying to push it about another month before I make any type of plans or such. Who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah, it's like flipping a coin.
I'd like to do at least 3 or 4 shows. I don't know if that entails sponsorship or just boothing up or what, but we'll try to be ready for whatever they got. So.
Heck yeah. Yeah, like I said, COVID's got things in a whack. So that's one thing we are trying to do a little more is maybe some traveling. We've talked about coming down to Tennessee a little bit and hooking up with some of the brands that we've, NutriFit is a big brand that we've worked with since we first started this. And now we got you. We've worked with Tennessee Pre, so we know a few people down there. So that's one of our things is possibly trying to get down there at some point. And hang out.
It's a hot spot here. I mean, we got the former Mr. O. We Low Blonder moved here like last year or such. The carbon cultures exploded. That's a whole new scene now. It always has been. Tennessee's been a pretty big hot spot. But there's just people slept on it, but now it's hard to now. I mean, it really is. So yeah, come on down. Shoot, that'd be awesome.
Well, definitely. If we get to it, we're definitely gonna be hitting everybody up trying to hang out. All right. So I think we've already kind of went through every one of those questions. You want to move on to the next?
Yeah. So what's the biggest challenge you faced right now, or that you have faced, and how have you overcome it, or how are you currently overcoming it?
The biggest challenge is just getting your name out there. I thought that would be easy. You can't really rely on the people you thought maybe you could have relied on. But you have to move on. You can't sit and bitch about that. You can't whine, and you got to find other avenues to succeed. I've been at it a year, and I don't even have 1,000 followers on Instagram. But they're organic. I mean, I haven't done any follow loops and all that other stuff. I hustle. I'm out there. I'm liking. I'm commenting daily. Lunch breaks, you name it. Yeah. So the hardest part is building that customer base because, all of our sales, it's either here locally or through Instagram, and which has been crazy. We've sold hundreds and hundreds only through Instagram. So that's crazy. We're moving into retail. That's slow, but it's coming. But the biggest challenge is getting that name out there and just giving people a reason to want your brand in their store. They're like, who the hell are you? Why should I buy you when I can get Redcon just as cheap? I'm gonna sell it, and you know the story. That's just it. And it's a challenge. I knew that would be there. But it just seems like this past year or so, there has just been an avalanche. Like everyone had the same idea I did. Everybody's bored during COVID or something. I don't know, but it's just been an avalanche of new brands, and so it's just hard getting out there getting recognized.
Definitely. And one thing we've talked to, if you can make it through last year as a brand, we've seen many fold and many almost going under. If you can get through that and kind of face that challenge, then everything else hopefully will kind of come along. And another thing to remember, brand in this space, it's oversaturated. We kind of just touched on that, but there's plenty to go around for everybody. There is plenty to go around. You do want to try and be different in some aspects. And definitely, I think the way you've kind of launched things, it's been way different than any other brand because normally brands that launch, it's always pre-workout, protein, and a fat burner or something like that. Yeah. So definitely interesting.
It goes back to what I was saying as far as all the good stuff out there. I was like, why in the hell would I create a pre-workout first when I'm up against what I'm up against? There was no it goes back to the necessity thing. Honestly, guys, there don't need to be any more pre-workouts on. Really.
Right. We are kind of reaching that point where, all of these ingredients have come readily available. And, with the exception of a couple things, there's not really too many more ways you can mix them.
Well, that and we've hit a wall. If you notice over the last, at least with COVID, definitely we've hit a wall to where there hasn't been many huge, major, groundbreaking ingredients that have come out recently. So it's been the flavor game. So it's been limited edition. It's been trying to pull here, and it's just reaching, which it works for. I mean, it works, but it's we've plateaued. I think is where we're at.
Yeah, definitely. There's something I was reading on Review Brothers. There was a panel as a new product, and I swear it had every single ingredient you could probably put in a product. I mean, I was just like, that's a total fuck the world. I mean, it would just put everything in there and say, what the hell? That's one reason why with Rumble, I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to put citrulline in there. I'm not going to put beta in there. I'm not going to clone it like anything else and adjust it 50 milligrams. I'm going to totally try to do something through a different avenue. I knew I was going to catch shit about it, but I wasn't going to clone. I wanted to put something out there my way, the first pre-workout. I love citrulline. I love beta. Don't get me wrong. And I already plan on using it in another. But with Rumble, I wanted my first pre-workout to be, it's not completely different. There's others out there. They're kind of similar. But I didn't want to go the normal route and just do something my way, get it out there, at least sell a few hundred and prove I can do it. And it's just because there's so much out there that is the same. It's
Well, yeah, that's another thing is if you can get a product or a pre-workout or something, we've played around or we're starting to play around with raw ingredients and stuff. You want to have a foundation. You want to be able to put that product out there, build that customer base, because the main thing that I talk to brands about is you want that customer base to come back to you for that second round. That initial impact is going to be whether they come back or whether they go over and get the BOGO, Trogo from Redcom 1. So, it's definitely one of those things. But I agree, you want to be somewhat different in that first initial launch, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, it's just going to come down to now who has the best T-shirt to give away for free with pre-workout. I mean, really, when I was sitting there, I don't have a huge marketing background, but man, I come from a cutthroat tool industry where we're competing in NASCAR, NBA, we're in those fields. So you have to look and break down a product, and it just comes down to swag and how you make something hype. I've figured out. I haven't figured out. I've tried to sit and figure out how to push Rumble, and what do I do? Free T-shirts, free this, buy one, BOGOs, like you said, and you really compare ingredients to another product. You're like, why would you buy mine? Why would you buy his? Like we were talking about, it's so saturated, and it just comes down to who's got the best T-shirt.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
which awesome. I mean, it kind of back to the point earlier with the martial arts. There's not like a lot of people in that area of the market, so that's a pretty good potential route, really.
Yeah, there it is. Sorry.
Yeah, fine.
Man, I'm from the woods, so I've got a ton of connections and stuff in the martial arts market and martial arts background. It's just one thing I was guilty of with my last brand is trying to do too many places. I tried to go paintball, I tried to go MMA, gun, you name it, and so I really try every time. I'm gonna talk to this person in the martial arts. I'm like, just focus, Daniel-san, but the time is coming where I do need to reach out and hit that avenue. But man, the ambassador, the sponsorship thing, it will drain you, and you have to find the right one. You really do. And I learned that from the martial arts. Everybody means well. Everybody thinks that they have all these followers that are going to buy all this stuff, and really it's their mom and their sister. And by the time you give away product, you never get that back. So I'm trying to approach it way more level-headed, and I used to let the other brands that showed up at these shows give away all their free stuff. I figured out quick that if your brand is good, they're going to come buy it no matter what. You don't have to give them anything. And that's kind of what I was saying about the T-shirt thing. I'm like, why the hell would you buy that just because you got a damn T-shirt? But I'm just trying to be careful about approaching a different market And but yeah, it's coming, and we'll see.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so let's jump on down. So how do you continue to learn in order to stay on top of things within an industry that seems to change daily, weekly, whatever the case may be?
Are you guys still there?
Yeah.
Okay, I got all kinds of pop-ups. Hold on a second, man. Okay. Question was, how do I stay on top of the daily?
Yeah. When with the industry changing, how do you continue to learn and stay up to date and informed with new, innovative things?
Holy shit, man, it's funny. By necessity, I'm so injured. I've had so many surgeries. I've had so much shit happen to me. In order to fix myself, through over the decades, it's come down to that. I mean, I've had doctors try to prescribe shit that is not going to help you. So you have to use your head. You have to go the natural route. You have to use your athletic sense and prowess and know that there's something out there. So through all that, you learn, you experiment, you learn some more, you experiment some more, and that's how it is. I mean, I'm not a trained chemist or formulator or anything like that. This is all just decades of experimentation and reading, and I mean, that's why you got the web. And the schooling I was in is marketing, engineering, or business. I think I may have had one health class. So all this is just from experimentation and staying on top of it. And now there's so much good stuff, and so many people out there willing to help and share. And I just get lost, So yeah, and I do my best not to. Well, I don't know. I'll move on. But
yeah, and one thing we talk about, it's finding the right circle in this space too. You want to, if you can find the right connections, the right people who are in it and have their heart in it, and you can build those relationships, then people are willing to help. I've seen brand owners connect with each other and bounce ideas off of each other just to help one another, and that's that mindset of having, there's enough to go around. We are big advocates of the supplement SNOOP group, with Justin Hall, things like that. That's a community that we are a part of, that I've learned over the last 3 years from them tremendous amounts of stuff in this space. So I definitely agree, and you don't hear many people say it anymore. Reading is the way to go. It's nowadays podcast or things like that. Being old school, reading and health books and things like that are still the way to go, in my opinion.
Man, I don't know if you guys know who Dan Duchesne is from the 90s, but he was a guru, and I still refer to some of his stuff, and he has a book, a couple of books out. It was considered back then extreme and crazy, but now is normal. Yeah, there's so much out there, and there's a lot of old school stuff out there still. You got to tap in and go back to the source, and sometimes that'll lead you, down. You'll discover more advanced science and more up to date techniques. But yeah, I need to revisit some of that stuff, man. How old are you guys? What area? What era?
I am, how old am I going to be? Let's see. I'm 30.
30?
25.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. It's my son right here.
Yeah. Man, I wish you guys could have experimented the ephedra age.
Yeah, so I've heard.
I was like, go back to that panel I was looking at last night. I don't know, there's 30 ingredients on there, and I was just like, all of this, most of it anyway, to equal ephedrine. You know what I mean? And I was just wondering where pre-workouts and stuff like this would be today if Malong or ephedra or anything could still be used. With the addition of the other stems, somebody would die. I mean,
it'd be dangerous. I mean, back then, just having a simplified formula with some creatine, some ephedrine, and like 2 other things, people were high on life, it seems like.
It was man, you could get that at any truck stop from here, anywhere in the South, and little Max Alert pills.
Yep.
Anything. The Rip Stool with the more herbal stuff. It was amazing. So, yeah, the 90s and early 2000s was nuts.
The good old days, man. The good old days.
Yeah.
All right. So you got the next one?
Yeah, next question. So, as a supplement brand owner, what's the biggest area of the industry you're curious about and why?
Biggest area. I want to know. I just don't want to hire somebody, which I'll end up having to do. But I really want to know how to drive super sales to your website, to your marketing. You know what I mean? I mean, the graphics, the other stuff, that's the fun that comes. But as far as systems, I love stuff like that. I'd love to know how the marketing geniuses are able to do that. That is an art in itself. It's a necessity. I mean, you see it every day play out. I mean, I don't know. I know what supplement brands hit me every day, and I would love to be able to learn that, to do that. That aspect, that art of the business. You know, I have very little knowledge. But yeah, not a glorious answer. It has nothing to do with
No.
Yeah.
It's relevant though.
Yeah, we've like second or third time.
That's the lifeblood. I mean, that's what's going to matter if we survive or not. You know, we can piddle fart around all day and make stuff look good, but until you have sales, there's really nothing. So.
Yeah, it makes sense, and a lot of that nowadays, and it's down to algorithms, and it's and bigger brands succeed, at least from what I know, they have a whole marketing team. I mean, they have like 4 or 5 people that have degrees that are out here creating content on 4 different platforms, and they're paying for those sponsored ads.
Yeah.
That you can run for 30 days for $1, whatever it is. I don't even know, but so that's a good answer, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, there's only so much formulation I can do. I mean, somebody will have to come in, and whenever we get into the more advanced stuff, I mean, I'm not gonna just wing it. I mean, people's lives and people's health is at stake, So I'll get by with the things I think I can do, but eventually with growth, the formulation side, I'll love to see grow. I would love to have my own capping, any type of, just for the future, obviously. But yeah, I'd like to grow just like anybody else. But as far as the marketing side is crucial. It's super crucial. There is no surviving without it. So
yeah,
it's true. That's true. All right. So what helps inspire you and brings out your best ideas?
It helps inspire me. Success from my customers. All weight loss, how IntraFast has helped, how Sugar Shuttle has helped, how they love Rumble, just how they respond to the brand. That obviously keeps you going because it's hard, man. I mean, you'll wonder why you do this every day, and those little things like that really keep you going. That's one aspect. I look and I see some of the more personal brand owners out there that are really out there pushing and hustling. I know Lowliner, as a dad, I'm a dad. I mean, the motor on that man is crazy amazing. It's inspirational. It's unfortunate he when he first got here, he worked out at the same gym I did, and I never got to meet him or anything like that. And eventually, I guess I will. But he's an inspiration as far as personal dad and a brand owner. And I won't say a lot of the other ones, but there's a lot of inspiration out there as far as the social media side. Just to you can watch and see how people react to certain things. Before I did this, I took almost a year or two just watching YouTube and just seeing the reactions people get and wondering if I was willing to take that negative criticism. Are you willing to sign on for this? Are you sure you want to go to battle for your ideas and the things you're going to put in these tubs? Because that's what it is. I mean, it's a battle. So yeah, there's a lot of social media influencers out there that keep me going. The comments and reviews about your product keep you going. And yeah, that's it. And just the will, just the need to succeed and get that. This is your baby, that's my name on that thing. So yeah, I want it to succeed just by default. I wake up every morning like, what are we doing? What are we doing? So yeah.
Yeah. In this space, you've got to be able to take feedback, negative criticism. I know we've talked about this a lot to other brands and different things through communication, even in what we do, and we're not paid or anything through this. This is a hobby. You still, to be on YouTube, the criticism and some of the stuff people say to you, man, you got to have a thick skin or just be able to brush it off. People are crazy, man. I'm telling you, this world, people are crazy.
Yeah.
So good one there. All right.
So where all can viewers find you and your brand?
Viewers, we're on YouTube, we're on Instagram, we're on every social media platform, the major ones. There's a bunch of little ones popping up now, Twitter even, all that. In stores, really nowhere. We're in Capital Nutrition. That's a brick and mortar and an online. Obviously, crownutrition.com. I mean, that's all day, every day. What's the other place? Capital Nutrition, Best Price Nutrition. We're looking to go into a shop, a chain here locally. Don't want to say yet because nothing's final.
Yeah.
But I've held off. I haven't really pushed the retail at all. I wanted to see if it's something I wanted to do, see if I could get a good reception. And so yeah, I didn't really push the retail thing until now. But yeah, man, we're on just getting YouTube going. We're on Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. So.
Heck yeah. Awesome. You got a question? You want me to do it? All right. So here's our last question. It's normally some type of off the wall question. It may not pertain. So if you could have dinner with 3 people, dead or alive, at any point in time, whatever, who would it be and why?
Oh, dead or alive. Jesus.
Okay.
Dead or alive, that's debatable. Probably Andy Kaufman, because I could just imagine, man, that's the craziest dude on earth. So, and him and Jesus at the table together. I don't know, man. I'm a big Jim Morrison fan. I'm a big 60s music fan, so maybe him or Hendrix together, just to see that mix and see what they would all talk about. But oh yeah, I mean, I could choose another 3.
Well, definitely, yeah. I like to just hear people and the way that they would go, because it's just an awesome mix that you normally get. But Jimi Hendrix would be one of mine probably too. I mean, so, well, all right. I mean, that's definitely all the questions we have. Is there anything that we didn't touch on that you would like to go over before we wrap things up?
Yeah, everybody quit giving me shit about having creatine in my damn pre-workout. If you're doing your daily diligence and you're an athlete, you should be taking creatine on the daily. So you should already be loaded. You should already have it in your system. So Lane Norton comes out with a pre-workout with no creatine in a video, which is totally viable. I mean, if you're not a daily creatine user, you're not going to get the benefits. Then all of a sudden, oh, it's bad to have creatine in your pre-workout and such. But yeah, I'm just kidding. I mean, everyone's got their opinions, but yeah, just quit giving me shit about creatine.
No, hey, I like creatine in mine because I definitely know I don't get the right amount of creatine daily. Yeah. Because, from certain foods you're going to get a little bit, but, I mean, the normal person isn't getting enough creatine. And to be honest, the normal person, especially when it comes to dieting, and they're like, oh, I'm getting too many carbs. I'm like, do you even know how many carbs you took in today? No. So how do you know you're getting enough or too many? So... But that's why we do this, we do it as a hobby, like I said, to learn for ourselves, but to try and inspire and teach others. So we definitely want to thank you for jumping on here today with us and telling your story, being able to let our viewers know what's up and the reason you do this. And definitely we're looking to connect more on these types of things as we expand our content. So we definitely stay in touch and try and do something else.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me. Thanks for all the work you're doing. I know you guys do this for free, and it gives us a good outlet to at least get our names out there and some facets. So yeah, I appreciate it, really.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
All right. Anything you want to add?
No.
All right, sir. Well, it was good talking to you. We appreciate having you, and we'll look forward to it soon.
All right, guys.
See ya.